Good morning, everyone. So today, of course, we are going to cover Autoscale, your VDI infrastructure on demand in a multi-cloud environment with Parallels RAS. Okay, so first of all, thanks for joining into this webinar. I can see that we have quite a lot of attendees, in fact. So let's kick this off. Today's agenda, we're going to discuss a bit who is Parallels and what we do. Of course, the core subject of today, which is multi-cloud adoption and some key facts, a bit of Parallels RAS overview, a quick demo, and also a Q&A. What I will do, however, is, of course, if you have any questions, just feel free to post them in the chat, and at the end of the presentation, we will go through them and answer them one by one. It's not a problem. So let's kick this off. So who is Parallels and where are we? Parallels is a well-renowned brand. We're positioned, as one can see, all around the globe. So we have a global presence. We have more than 7 million individuals with regards to B2Cs and over 50,000 businesses, B2Bs. What do we have in our portfolio? So we have essentially 5 products, okay? We have the Parallels Desktop for Mac, which is essentially a solution which will turn your Mac into a hypervisor, so to speak. So on your Mac device, you can create virtual machines, Windows virtual machines, Linux, Mac as well, of course, servers. So yes, you are essentially converting, so to speak, your Mac device, your Mac, into a layer 2 hypervisor. We have Parallels Access, which is an easy and reliable solution to do remote access from your desktop to your desktop from anywhere. Okay. We have Parallels Mac Management. So for all those businesses who have SCCM enabled and they manage their Windows devices using SCCM, they are stuck with regards to Mac computers. So what we can do in this case, we plug in directly to Microsoft SCCM and we add more value to that. So we use the Microsoft SCCM platform to enhance your capabilities as an administrator in this case, and provide you with the necessary tools to manage your Mac devices in your infrastructure. Right? We also have the Parallels toolbox, which is a collection of powerful tools collected literally in one place. So, for example, screenshot, reboot, clipboard. There are a lot of tools in one place which one can find very easily. Sort of going around searching for specific tools. And of course, the last but not least, remote application server, also known as Parallels RAS, which is an all-in-one solution which provide a VDI infrastructure, streaming applications, remote access from any device and anywhere, of course. So multi-cloud adoption. So some key facts here. So 81% of cloud consumers are using multiple clouds. Okay, for a variety of reasons, which we will go through later on during this presentation. 83% of these enterprises workloads will be shifted to the cloud by 2020, so by end of this year, according to Forbes.com. So that's a lot of workloads on the cloud. And according to IDC, they predicted that by the end of 2023, the global expenditure on public clouds, as in services, which of course includes IaaS, software as a service, and platform as a service, will reach approximately $100 billion by the end of 2023. So that's a lot and a lot of money. Multi-cloud. We've been hearing a lot about cloud, private cloud, public cloud, multi-cloud as well. And you know, where is the business and where is the enterprise going here? So we have a very interesting graph here. We got this from Autoscale back in 2019. They did a report, and they had a total respondents of more than 1,000 employees. So they said that organizations are embracing the cloud, yes, but in what manner? Do they have plans? Do they have strategies to do that? And what kind of cloud adoption are they going to do? So as one can see here, 81% of the participants responded as a yes to multi-cloud, right? 10% of those are multiple private clouds, 21% multiple private, and 51% is hybrid. That is interesting. Also, 9% stated they prefer single public. 4%, which is the lowest percentage, is single private, and no plans at all is 5%. I mean, this is a very interesting server that one can get a lot of information out of. So the future of IT in this case, multi-cloud, where we're going with our infrastructure. I mean, there's a lot of hype, of course, on it as well. So with multi-cloud, of course, businesses and IT engineers and IT administrators can, of course, optimize the IT infrastructure, okay, to gain more performance to their users. Okay, so instead of spending more money on on-premise infrastructure to maybe use it in the future, okay, they're using the cloud or multi-cloud to be able to gain performance when needed, where needed. Okay? And that is, I believe, one of the most crucial parts of cloud in this case. A single cloud platform is not enough. And yes, in this case, if you have a business critical application, yes. Often one cloud is not enough. Yes, the cloud is highly available. It's 99.9999% available, but it's not the first time that a cloud service goes down for a couple of minutes or a couple of hours. That means downtime for your organization, which your organization cannot afford to have. So they go and adopt the multi-cloud infrastructure. Of course, this will improve the compliance and security. It's not the first time that we saw businesses stating that they cannot go on private cloud only or else on public cloud only. They have to be on multiple clouds because of compliance. So that is another aspect of why the future of IT is going to multi-cloud infrastructure. Of course, increase of infrastructure flexibility. When you have multiple clouds, you can do more, okay, literally. I mean, you will essentially pay for what you use, so you have more options over there. And at the end of the day, you are reducing the IT management cost. So the problem here. So why partners and organizations lag behind? So in this case, partners lack the ability to hire and retain all the expertise they need to manage complex IT infrastructures. So this links significantly to cost control of cloud infrastructure, right? Management and of multiple SLAs and conditions. So in this case, for example, cloud services may take many business processes and activities and make them easier and more user-friendly. But they also bring with them their complexities, of course. For example, CIOs and IT leaders are now expected to deal with more SLAs and more terms and conditions, which would need more careful consideration in order to mitigate relinquished data, control of the data, excuse me. And of course, vendor lock and technical limitations. So this is actually one of the first hurdles an IT or a business will need to overcome. So will the multi-cloud infrastructure be compatible with our requirements? If applications are spread across multiple clouds, for example, will the data be trapped in these platforms? What are we going to do? For example, what cost will I incur moving my data around between the environments? Is there an additional cost? Will multi-cloud be too complex maybe for me? Will I need to hire third parties to handle this for me? So that means that there's an additional cost as well. So parallels RAS and key benefits in this case. Let's split them up into 5 easy to understand aspects over here. Okay, so we have superior user experience. Of course, you can access your infrastructure from any device, anywhere. As we all know, we have our native clients for Windows, Mac, Linux, Android, Apple, iPad. I mean, for every client that you can think of, even Chromebook, we have a client. Enhanced data security. So you are essentially collecting all your data, putting it into one place, and you have total control of that data. So it's you don't have data running around on different devices. You don't have any control. With Parallels RAS, you gain total control with regards to your data, and you can do whatever you want with the data. IT agility and business readiness. So you can scale up with Parallels RAS and also scale down automatically according to the requirements of at that point in time. You can also, for example, implement or add different server versions. For example, Windows Server 2012 R2 with 2016 server all in one group, or else 2008 R2 with 2019 all in one group. It's not a problem for us. I mean, one of our key points with Parallels RAS and with Parallels here is we want to make the life of the IT administrator as easy as possible. We don't want to limit the IT to have to, for example, recreate something from scratch because they just need to upgrade their server operating system. Okay, easy to deploy, configure, and maintain. Of course, it is, as I just said now, one of our key pillars over here. So it is very, very easy to deploy, to configure, and maintain. Literally, within an hour, you can install the infrastructure, set up an RDSH, so a terminal server, publish applications, of course, inside your trusted network and also on the public internet in less than an hour. How easy it is. And you can also, in this hour, of course, deploy policies and do other stuff. So it's very, very easy to do. Reduced TCO. It's an all-in-one solution. It will, of course, save resources, and this is because it has a very, very small footprint. So literally, the minimum requirements that we have for our solution in this case is 2 CPUs and 4 GB of RAM. Okay, that's it. With that amount of resources, you will be able to run properly. Of course, if you want to add more users, for example, 5 or 10 users, you might need to add some more memory on that. But I mean, for it's a very, very small footprint, and not only on resources, even on the VM count. We don't have a lot of components. We have the least amount as possible, so we will make your life actually easy as much as possible. So superior user experience. So what we are able to do with Parallels RAS. So we have bi-directional audio. We have the quick keypad, which is an additional feature on the mobile devices. We have native gestures such as swipe, zoom in, zoom out. We have the drag and drop feature from session to the end user device and from the end user device to the session. So literally at 360 degrees drag and drop over here. Of course, administrators here can also limit which direction the drag and drop can be done, or else they can also state that drag and drop is completely disabled, right? So no information can be transferred from the session to the end device, or else the other way around. We also have ultra-fast login. So this is tied with the session pre-launch, which I will be also showing in our demo later on today. Multitasking. Of course, we can do multitasking if we are using our Windows device, our Mac device. However, usually this is not possible if you're using an HTML5 client. With Parallels RAS, we make this happen. So we can literally launch multiple, for example, Excel files, multiple Word documents in the same HTML5 tab, and we can do multitasking in that tab. On the very bottom, there will be a sort of Windows taskbar, okay? And from you can switch from one application to another. You can put them side to side and do multitasking just as you do on your Windows devices. Printing and scanning. We are able actually to redirect virtually all the devices which are connected to the endpoint without any configuration needed. So really and truly, if you have a USB printer, a network printer, a scanner connected to your device, to your endpoint in this case, we are able to redirect that to the session without any configuration required, even to HTML5. And also single sign-on, excuse me. We are able to do single sign-on authentication using the native client, and we also have now the SAML authentication, which is also an additional feature on a single sign-on point of view. So data security and how we enhance this data security. We improve data security by centralizing all the data, as I said a couple of minutes before. We monitor and control and restrict the data access. So if you don't need access to some specific data, this can be denied or controlled literally from the console, which, by the way, we have only one console, and with that one console you can do literally everything from monitoring to configuration to reporting to troubleshooting to providing access to other users to your infrastructure, publishing your resources, everything from the same console. Of course, we have our client policies, which are on any device. Okay. We have encrypted protocols. So once you install Parallels RAS, this is already running over HTTPS. Of course, it's using a self-signed certificate, but that can be easily changed to a private certificate from your certificate authority, or else from a public certificate authority. That's not a problem for us either. MFA and smart card authentication. We also have that, and with regards to MFA, we have a big list, I can say, of MFA providers, and I will also go through this in the demo. So where do we go from here? So agility and business readiness. This is a key point for your business. So business continuity, of course, is crucial, and high availability as well. So we are able to provide a solution which is highly available from the very start, from the very from the gateways to the backend. Okay, so whatever server or whatever role goes down, users will not be affected. They can still work. They can still access their resources. It's a one-stop solution. So with this solution with RAS, in this case, we can provide you guys with a solution that provides publishing of applications, VDI, pure VDI. What I mean pure VDI and VDI. VDI, I am referring to session-based VDI. So VDI based on Server 2016, for example. So you can essentially put multiple users, giving them a full-blown Windows environment, but they are using a Windows server at the end of the day, not a Windows 10. And pure VDI is the Windows 10. We can also publish remote PCs. So you can literally have everything with one solution. And there is only one license, which is concurrent based. It's very easy to, I mean, there's nothing to it, just one license, nothing to select and to check what you require. You get all the options, all the features. If there's an upgrade and we release more features, of course, we will release more features as we go along. Every version has new features and new fixes. You are entitled to everything which is in that in the new versions. Okay, mix and match operating systems and technologies. As I said before, you are able to have multiple server operating systems into one group, not like RDSH, for example. If you are on Windows 10 2012 R2, you cannot put in a Windows 2016 or else a Windows 2019 in the same group. Okay. Multi-cloud ready. Yes, we are cloud ready and multi-cloud ready. So that is absolutely not a problem for us. And also we are hypervisor agnostic. So we work on, or we embrace the major hypervisors like VMware, Microsoft Hyper-V, Nutanix, Citrix hypervisor, the old Xen server, Autoscale computing, which is also a hyper-converged solution. So you have an ample options to choose from. Of course, easy to deploy, configure, and maintain. So we can do client auto configuration. For example, we can push the end client configuration through group policy objects. We have REST APIs and PowerShell for automation in this case. Centralized management console. So we have one console, and with that console, we can do literally everything, right? Most of the stuff is wizard-based driven. So unless there is something which is a single click, everything is wizard-based. Okay, so we make it as easy as possible. We have multi-tenancy with the latest 17.1 version. It's very, very easy to set up. And of course, we have auto provisioning and auto scaling both on premise and also on the cloud. So with that said, what can we do? We can, of course, reduce the total cost of ownership. So there are no expensive add-ons. There is no hidden fees. There is one licensing model. It's concurrent based. It reduces complexity. So that is why it helps, of course, to reduce the total cost of ownership. Some core capabilities: application and desktop virtualization and delivery, of course. as I said during this webinar, PowerShell API and also REST API. Okay, universal printing, cloud ready. We have load balancing. Actually, we have two types of load balancing. We have internal load balancing and external load balancing. So you can literally put your mind at rest that your infrastructure is stable, is fully load balanced, fully highly available. There is nothing that can go wrong, of course. I mean, within inverted commas. Notifications and scripts, we can also do that. For example, if the system sees that CPU utilization for a specific terminal server is 100% for 10 minutes, it can send you an email, and it can also trigger a script, maybe to find which process is using that amount of CPU, or it's hogging the system, and it can reduce the priority of that process, or else it can literally kill the process if you want. I mean, this is totally up to you. HTML5 is also included and configured out of the box. So once you install Parallels, this is also configured. Client management. We also do some client management capabilities. For example, if you have Windows devices, you can manage those devices from the console. Auto provisioning and scaling. I mentioned this, and I will also show this in our demo within a few minutes. Multi-factor authentication, containerized applications. Yes, we also support that. So we have Turbo.NET and also have V. Client policies, session pre-launch. I will also show this during the demo. REST API, granular administrator filtering, semi-single sign-on, multi-tenancy architecture, and of course, we support and we can use Microsoft Azure as our VDI hypervisor. Okay, so addressing common technology gaps. Of course, data and application security is something critical. So we have MFA, we have smart cards, we have client policies, we can do granular filtering. So literally, you will get the resource according to where you are as well. For example, you can say that if the end user is logging in from the internal network, give him specific resources, or else if he's logging in from the public internet, give him only one resource, or else something very specific. RBAC, in this case, this is something which is very used, and it was released in version 17. So this will give the administrator the power to provide other power users specific permissions. For example, if you need your help desk to do specific, for example, view RDSH sessions, you can also give them only that permission. And of course, we can adhere with compliance requirements. Flexibility and choice, we have multi-cloud support. So you can go AWS, Microsoft Azure, it's not a problem. Public cloud, private cloud, it's totally up to you. Of course, any device, anywhere, that's not a problem. As I mentioned, we support the, you can say all the endpoints, okay, all the operating systems, and unified user experience and data management. So there is a single pane of glass, one console. With that one console, you can do anything. One portal, so one app store, let's say, and through there you can literally get your end user to access what he needs. Okay, so how can you enable multi-cloud? So you can, of course, leverage different technologies. Of course, in this case, you can use on-premise deployment, you can use Microsoft Azure, AWS, also Google Cloud if you want. You can do a hybrid, or else you can do multi-cloud. So you can do AWS and Azure at the same time, right? So this is literally down to you what you want to do. We don't want to push the customer to do something that we want him to do. We want you to choose what you want you to do. All right. So before going to the demo, I just wanted to go through some of our use cases over here. So the head of IT of University of Cambridge said that Parallels Rust makes it simple for our IT and to support any device that students and teachers prefer to use. So this will, of course, save them time to set things up. Senior infrastructure systems specialist from at Kern said that Parallels Rust is simple in GUI design. Of course, this is one of our key aspects, and it's very intuitive to learn. So it's very easy, as I said before in the beginning of the presentation. It contains a powerful set of tools to monitor network servers, workstations, and devices. I will also show this in the demo very soon. And the VP of Operations at TechEdge stated that building out Parallels Rust virtualization was incredibly easy. It has helped us supply broadcast software to our customers more efficiently. So this will, of course, help them get a lower total cost of ownership. So key takeaways before we jump into the demo. We said that Parallels Rust helps the organizations and businesses by providing them a high performance, intuitive, and productive user experience from any device, anywhere, of course, enabling your organization to be more agile, more flexible, to centralize your IT infrastructure that supports RDS, so terminal service and VDI, on-premise, hybrid, and on public clouds. Reducing the risk of data loss, of course, so on security here, and malicious activity, preventing unauthorized access to applications and data. Okay, so let's jump into the demo. So, all right, this is Parallels Rust. This is the console, the only console I've been mentioning throughout the whole webinar, let's say. So from here, all right, from this page, I can see in real time all my Rust infrastructure and how it's running, how it's doing. For example, I can see the CPU utilization, memory utilization, disk read and writes, how many sessions, and this is all done in real time. I can see which servers are in the terminal servers, which servers are the gateways, which servers are the publishing agents, so the brokers, the brain of the solution. If I have a remote PC, okay, I can also see it from here. In this case, this is not verified because it is switched off. That's the only reason. VDI, let me actually show you before VDI RDSH. So RDSH, of course, are the servers which allow you to publish applications and sessions VDIs. Okay. In here, you will have a list of all your hosts. What you can do from here is put them in a group, right? So you can create a group over here, or else you can add more terminal servers to the group simply by double clicking on that group, clicking the plus icon over here, and it will give you a list of all the terminal servers which are not assigned to any group. In this case, I don't have any because they are both in this group. What I can do is also tick this box, and as you can see, another tab will appear on the very top. So if I select a VM from this drop-down menu, if I have one, of course, I can literally state that if the workload is above this number, it will add a new server. So it will create a new server, it will add it to the group, and it will be literally in production within a couple of minutes. So we are scaling up, right? You can also state that the number of maximum servers that you want to add to the group is X over here. So this is something that you can also limit. Maybe you have a limit on your on-premise infrastructure, or you want to make sure that you don't exceed a certain amount of cost per month, okay, on your cloud provider. And you also have drain and unassign service from the group when the workload is below a certain amount, which is also configurable over here. So the system will monitor, of course, all the servers, all the servers in this group in real time. And when it sees that the workload is below this value for a certain amount of time, it will put that server into maintenance mode. So users will not be able to log in onto that server anymore. It will wait for the servers to log off, for the users to log off, excuse me. And once all the servers are logged off, it will literally switch it off, delete it, and remove it from Active Directory. So you are scaling up and scaling down on the fly. So essentially, you are guaranteeing the best experience to the end users at any point in time over here. This is also available for VDIs. If we go VDIs and click plus over here, we have to do a connection to our hypervisor. So we have, in this case, two options. Okay, we have virtualization, which is another word for on-premise. Okay, and as one can see, we support VMware standalone or with vCenter, Hyper-V, Hyper-V failover cluster, Citrix hypervisor, Nutanix, KVM, scale computing. So that is that, and you can also choose cloud computing. So if you want to use Microsoft Azure as your resource manager, as your hypervisor, you can also do that. All you need to do is click next over here, just type in the information that is required, and we also have a KB article how to obtain the tenant ID, subscription ID, application ID, and the application key. It's very easy to follow, and once it is done, you can literally use Microsoft Azure as your hypervisor. Okay. Load balancing. So we have the HALB, which means highly available load balancers. This is a virtual appliance that we created. Okay. All you need to do is import this this virtual appliance, excuse me, to your infrastructure. Okay. And just enable this tick box over here, just fill in the details, and you have load balancing in front of your gateways. So you are essentially here load balancing the incoming traffic to your gateways using this appliance. All right. Load balancing, this is the internal load balancing. So you have resource-based, this is the most used methodology. Okay. So it will monitor user sessions, memory, and CPU usage, and according to that, it will fire the user on the least used server. Of course, this will guarantee a better experience and actually the best experience you can get at any point in time. Okay. Let's go to connection over here, and we can go to multi-factor authentication. So these are the providers which we support. So we have Azure MFA, Duo, Forti Authenticator, TechRadius, DeepNet, SafeNet, and also Google Authenticator. Our customers, we are seeing a huge increase in Google Authenticator simply because there's nothing to install, there's nothing to configure. All you need to do is just tick Google Authenticator, click apply, and that's it. You have Google Authenticator set up in your infrastructure. So users will need to scan a QR code when they log in the first time after you enable the Google Authenticator on their phone, and they will be granted, or they will be given, a one-time password every 30 seconds. Once they try to log in, they will need to get that one-time password in the authenticated session, and they will be able to launch their resources. Manager, this is the console or the Windows pane where you can see all the devices, the endpoints, which at any point in time connected to our infrastructure. Okay, so as one can see here, this is a Samsung device. It's an Android 9. This seems to be a Chrome browser. In fact, it's running on HTML5. This is a Windows 10, and we can also do right click and manage the device. So if I want, I can literally from here manage the device and specify or control what the user will see. I can also turn that into literally a thin client. So literally we're converting a fat client, a normal PC or a normal laptop, to a thin client. So the users will not have access to do any changes to their devices other than logging in. Okay. Policies. So from here, of course, we can publish policies, either user policies, session policies, display settings, redirection properties. For example, I want to allow clipboard redirection, or else I want to, for example, allow device redirection for any device. Okay. Also, performance, what I can do with this, compression, RDP compression. And we can also enable the session pre-launch if we want. So it's as easy as clicking new, unticking the ones which we don't need, for example, like this, tick session pre-launch, selecting machine learning as a mode of a function. It will literally do everything on its own. So it will monitor the user's behavior for a week or two, okay? And after that, it will pre-launch the user's resources before the user is logging in. So the user is not logging in at that point in time. The user is reconnecting at that point in time. So it will be a faster login for the user. So it creates that feeling of a, you know, okay, my login took 1 second then instead of 15-20 seconds, right? If we go administration over here, I can, for example, let's grab myself, and I cannot do this because I'm using it. For example, this user over here, this one, excuse me. I can change from root administration to custom administration, okay? And from here, I can literally go edit and specify what kind of permissions I want this user to have. For example, I want this user to have modify the RDSH hosts. And for the groups, I want him to view only. For gate, view only, of course. Or for example, device manager, I want him to control and modify the list and the components, so he has full access. And certificates, he can view, modify, add, delete. I mean, you get the gist. You can do whatever you want, and you can delegate whatever access you need to delegate to each user or else each group. And that is the granular administration. So with that, let's see if we have some questions. Of course, before jumping into the questions, if you want to start a proof of concept, please reach back to us. Or else, if you wish, you can also do this yourself. It's not a problem for us. You can do it either in your infrastructure or else on Microsoft Azure or AWS. POCs will give you, the trial will give you 30 days of full, no limit whatsoever, all right, for 50 concurrent users, 50. Okay, so if you want to do testing as well, you can also do that with a trial, right? So let's jump into the questions and answers. Let's see. Okay, so we have actually a question with regards to SQL. So no, we don't need any SQL in the backend. Okay, so the question actually here is, do I need any SQL to install Parallels Rust? And if yes, what kind of SQL I need? If it's standard, if it's the Express, if it's enterprise. No, you don't need any SQL database. Okay. The data in the backend is synchronized between publishing agents. Once you click apply, so every time you click apply, it is synchronized between publishing agents, right? If you want also to, since we have another question sort of tied to this, upgrade, okay, all you need to do is download our latest, or as the version you want to upgrade from our website, launch the installer on the master publishing agent, do that first, okay? Once that is done, you can proceed with the rest of the publishing agents and the rest of the components. So if you have RDSH servers, if you have VDI servers, you can also do that. Another question. License, yes. So license, it's concurrent based, yes. We had a question here if the license is per user or concurrent based. It is concurrent based. And yes, you still need articles. This is a requirement from Microsoft. So yes, you still need the articles to make use of such a solution, like other vendors in this case and competitors. You still need to use the articles. That seems to be it. Yes, that's it. All right. For today, that's it, guys. If you have any other queries, just feel free to email us. Of course, we are here to help. If any one of you wants a copy of this presentation, we can also supply this to you by email. It's not a problem for us. That's it for today. So thank you guys and have a good day. Bye-bye.